Hi students, in this problem I am going to explain about how to draw the root locus for the given open loop transfer function. So let me see the question here. A unity feedback system has open loop transfer function g of s equals to k divided by s into s square plus 4s plus 13 and sketch the root locus. So this is the problem. We are going to plot the root locus. So let me move that first step to locate the poles and zeros. So already the poles and zeros, how we can identify that poles and zeros from the given transfer function means the transfer function is nothing but it is a combination of numerator and denominator. So numerator, denominator. The roots of numerator can be called as zeros and the roots of denominator can be called as poles. So in this problem, we have a transfer function k divided by s into s square plus 4s plus 13. So there is no there is no roots obtaining from the numerator. So because there is no zeros. Now we'll see the denominator. It has a s into s square plus 4s plus 13. So the equation will come in third quadrant. So then you will get that three roots. So these three roots are called as poles. So let me see that what are the poles. So the poles are s1 equals to 0. So one s should be 0 and we have to find the remaining two roots from by using this equation from the formula minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So in this equation the coefficient of s square is called as a and here a is equals to 1 and the coefficient of s term is called is denoted by 4 and the constant is c equals to 13. If you substitute these values in this equation so b minus 4 plus or minus square root of b square means 16 minus 4 into 4ab 4 into 1 into 13. So finally you will get minus 4 plus or minus j6 divided by 2. So here by simplification then you will get minus 2 plus or minus j3. So finally we will get the poles p1 equals to 0, p2 equals to minus 2 plus j3 and p3 equals to minus 2 minus j3. So these are the three poles we obtained by using this given cascade open loop transfer function. So already you know that the poles are marked by cross in the graph and zeros should be marked by the zeros in the graph. So let me move the second step to find the root locus on real axis. So we have three. So let me see the graph. What is the location of poles in that axis? So if you observe this graph, this is the exact location of poles and zeros in the graph. So here we have three roots, that is three poles, right? One is at 0 and so this is denoted by p1 and p2 is the minus 2 plus j3, so it is located here. So this is the placement of pole when it has the complex conjugate and it is the p3, that is minus 2 minus j3. Suppose when we see that real axis, that is x-axis, we have only one pole is locating at the origin. So there is only one pole. If you want to check the root locus whether the axis is symmetrical about real root locus or not, so what we have to do means we have to check that a test point between that this origin, that is the pole is located here, right? So p equals to 0 and to minus infinity. If you place the minus infinity, if you place any test point between these 2 points, where we look back to the right side, the number of poles and zeros should be odd. So now I am considering one test point between this pole and minus infinity. So you can place anywhere. When we see the towards the origin, it has a one pole is located here, one is an odd number, hence the entire axis until from 0 to minus infinity belongs to the root locus. So I mentioned here the root locus to minus infinity. Why? Because so this is the way of finding the how the root locus will be located on the real axis. Now see that this point to find the root locus on the real axis. So this is only one, there is only one pole on real axis of the origin. Hence if we choose any test point on the negative real axis, so generally we have the graph like this. So one pole is located here, another pole is located here, another pole is, so three poles are located here. So you will get a graph like this. Now the root locus, already you know that the root locus is symmetrical about that real axis. If you choose a test point between this pole, that is p1 equals 0 to minus infinity, in between you can take any test point. While observing to the right side, the number of poles or zeros should be odd number. So here there is only one pole is to the right side of the test point, so that's why it is odd number. Hence the entire real axis, that is from 0 to minus infinity, belongs to the root locus. See here, hence the entire negative real axis will be a part of root locus. The root locus on real axis is shown in graph by bold line. So you are always represent the root locus by bold line, so don't forget it. So now let me move the third step, that is to find the angle of asymptotes and centroid. So already know that formula for angle of asymptotes. Angle of asymptotes is equals to plus or minus 180 degrees into 2q plus 1 divided by n minus m. So here n minus m is a number of asymptotes, and q can be written as from, it will start from 0, 1, 2 until n minus m. So here n minus m is 3. Why? Because we have 3 poles and number of zeros are 0. So 3 minus 0 equal 3. So you have to take the q value from 0 to 3. Now you substitute that each and every q value, then we can find the angle of asymptotes. Let me see the when q is equals to 0. So what will get angles? So when q is equals to 0, you will get plus or minus 60 degrees. When q is equals to 1 angles, you will get plus or minus 180 degrees. So generally the first 4 angles should be enough. There is no need to find that remaining q is equals to 2, q equals 3. Why? Because the angle of asymptotes should get only first 4 angles. So already we got that first 4 angles, 60 degrees and 180 degrees. So here 2, here 2. So 4 is over. There is no need to find that q equals to 2 and q is equals to 3. Let's move on to the centroid. Right. See, so here I mentioned here. So it is enough if you calculate the required number of angles. Here it is first 3 values of angles. The remaining values of will be repetitions of previous values. So so మనకి ఇక్కడ రిపీట్ అవుతున్నాయి కాబట్టి కనుక్కోని అవసరం లేదు. Next centroid. Centroid is equals to sum of poles minus sum of zeros divided by number of asymptotes n minus m. So here we have the poles 0, minus 2 plus j3, minus 2 minus j3, and there is no zeros, right? So 0 divided by 3. So finally we got minus 4 by 3, and its value is minus 1.33. So this is the centroid point. It should be located on the real axis, that is LH side. Let's move the next step, that is to find the breakaway and break-in point. So for finding the breakaway and break-in point, you definitely needs that characteristic equation. So how we can get the characteristic equation? From the closed loop transfer function, that is g of s divided by 1 plus g of s h of s. So the denominator equation represents the characteristic equation of a given system. So this is the closed loop transfer function, and the denominator is called as characteristic equation. From this make the equation that is equals to k. K is equals to minus s cubed plus 4s square plus 13s. Reference it is equation 1. Now differentiate equation 1 with respect to s and equating to the 0. So if you differentiate this equation with respect to s, you will get 3s square plus 8s plus 13 is equals to 0. Now for this equation we have to find that roots. So you will get it is a second order quadratic equation, right? So you will get 2 roots. So that is s1 and s2. So by using the minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a చేసిన తర్వాత then we will get that 2 roots, that is this 2. Okay, now check for k. So what is the reason for this means, if you substitute s1 and s2 in equation k, the k value should come real and positive. So when it is come real and real and positive, then the root should act as a breakaway point. So in sometimes you will get positive real, but the value should not lie on the real axis, or the value should not lie on the between the two poles or two zeros. So the main condition for a breakaway point means, listen carefully. So for finding the break point, the k value should be positive real. That is the first consideration. And next one is the breakaway point is always always present on the root locus. That is second one. And third one is the breakaway point. So if you want to say that breakaway point present on the root locus, that should be located between the two poles. So ఎప్పుడైతే మనకు రూట్ లోకస్ అనేవి టూ పోల్స్ మధ్యలో, సపోజ్ టూ పోల్స్ మధ్యలో రూట్ లోకస్ అనేది క్రియేట్ అయిన తర్వాత, ఇన్ బిట్వీన్ ఇఫ్ యూ గెట్ ఎనీ పాయింట్, దట్ ఈ పాయింట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ బ్రేక్అవే పాయింట్. ఆర్ if the root locus is located between the two zeros, if the point is located here, this point is called as break-in point. And breakaway and break-in point should never comes between the one pole and one zero, or one zero and one pole. So here there is not possibility of locating that breakaway or break-in point. So if the breakaway point is always locating on the root locus, if the root locus is lies between the two poles, then this point is called as breakaway point. If the point is located between the two zeros, this point is called as break-in point. If you solve this equation, you will get that some value. But so actually on the real axis, in this problem on real axis we have only one pole, but the root one pole, and the root locus lies between pole and minus infinity. So here minus infinity is not a pole or zero, so that's why here there is no need to so here we can't able to find that root breakaway or break-in point. So that's why I mentioned here it is not equals to real and positive. Also it can be shown that when substitute under S2 also, you will get same thing. So that's why in this problem there is no breakaway or break-in point. So let me move on next step. So next step is to find the angle of departure. So here also one thing you have to remember that, so when we can find that angle of departure and when we can find the angle of arrival. So angle of departure means, if the, so in our problem we have poles or zeros, right? So all poles and zeros completely is located on LH side, then we can calculate that angle of departure. If some of the poles are zeros, at least one pole or zero, it should be located on RHS, then we can find the angle of arrival. So that is the difference between angle of departure and angle of arrival. Angle of departure means all poles and zeros should be lies on the LH side. So here in this case we can find the angle of departure. Suppose one of the pole or zero should be located here. Suppose one zero is located here, then you can calculate as a angle of arrival. So that is the difference between angle of departure and angle of arrival. And this step will come involved in when the roots are in complex conjugate. If the roots are not complex conjugate, there is no need to find this step. See here, since there is no angles of arrival because no pole and no zero located on the right half of real axis of S plane, so that's why there is no need to find that value. Now we have to find that angle of departure because the poles are complex conjugate. Now from this if you see this graph, after locating these poles, the graph should be like this, like box. After that, so represent it is a and it is a star. Now from this point you have to add a line to every pole or zero locating on the real axis from here A. So we have only one pole located in the real axis, right? So I am adding a line. So not just adding line, so you have to add a line by angle. So how we can find that angle means, so here when you add the angle, this is called as theta 1 and this is called as theta 2. So theta 2 is so this angle is always 90 degrees. Why? Because this axis should be vertical and you have to find the theta 1. So how we can find the theta 1 value means, from this equation 180 degrees minus tan inverse of A by B So 180 degrees minus tan inverse of, so how we can find the A value and B value means, see here, the distance between this A and real axis is called as A. The distance between this line to origin is B. So in graph you can observe that from here to here there is 1 2 3, so there are 3 units, so A is equals to 3. Next we will see the real axis, there will be, so this is the B value here, 1 2, so B is equals to 2. So this is the way of finding the A and B. So if you substitute theta is equals to tan inverse of A by B, then you will get 123.7 degrees. So this line should be in a 123.7 degrees. Let me check whether it is 127 or not. So how we can draw the axis means, take the protractor here, just place that at midpoint. So it should be 123, right? So this is the 120 line, 121, 122, 123. So exactly position of 123.7 we got the line here. So that is so you have to check that value, otherwise your graph will not get properly. And theta 2 already we know that it is completely 90 degree. Why? Because this axis is in vertical. So next, angle of departure. So angle of departure formula is 180 degrees minus sum of angle of vectors of complex poles A from the other poles, sum of angles of vectors of complex poles A from other zeros. So generally we have the graph like this, right? So here one pole. So the represent it is A and A star, and origin we have one. So sum of angle of vectors of the complex form pole A from other poles. So this is the complex form and this is the other pole. So the next one, and plus sum of angle of vectors of complex poles A from all zeros. So here there is no zeros, right? So zeros we are not considering. And 180 degrees minus theta 1 plus theta 2. సో మనకు ఇక్కడ వచ్చిన రెండు యాంగిల్స్ అనేవి పోల్స్ సంబంధించినవి కాబట్టి మనకు ఇక్కడ theta 1 plus theta 2 మాత్రం వస్తుంది, రిమైనింగ్ జీరో సంబంధించిన యాంగిల్స్ రావు. సో 180 degrees minus theta 1 plus theta 2 చేస్తే minus 33.7 degrees వస్తుంది. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద యాంగిల్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు డ్రా ఫ్రమ్ ఏ. If you want to draw the angle of from A star means you had, so angle of departure from a complex form pole 3. So here pole 3 is located, right? Equals to minus of angle of departure from complex pole 2. So just say then you will get the positive value. So how we can draw this means, so suppose here you got that minus 33.7. so if the angle is minus, you had to draw the by keeping protractor in reverse side, downward side. So if it is positive, you have to keep like this, right? So 33.7. So this angle should be made from the two complex conjugate poles, that is P2 and P3. Let me see. So from A we got that negative value, right? So if you see this value minus 33.7, so this angle makes that 33.7. So here you will get, so and from A star you will get the positive angle, right? So you have to keep the here protector and draw the 33.7 degrees. So this is the way of finding the angle of arrival and angle of departure. So let me move on next step, that is crossing, to find the crossing point on imaginary axis. So here also we had to find this crossing points by using the characteristic equation, that is s cubed plus 4s square plus 13s plus k. So this is the equation of characteristic equation. Then what we have to do means, we have to put s is equals to j omega in the characteristic equation. Finally we will get that after simplification of imaginary square like this, then you will get the equation like this. Now we had to separate that imaginary parts and the real parts, and it should be equals to 0. In this equation, what are the imaginary parts means, so this one and it one, so this should be separate. So minus j omega cubed plus j 13 omega equals to 0. So while simplification this, finally you will get the omega equals to square plus or minus square root of 13, and the root of 13 is 3.6. Let us see. 3.6. So plus or minus 3.6, and it is we have to crossing on the images, so we have to represent it plus or minus j. Let me see, consider the real parts, that is minus omega 4 omega square plus k equals to 0. So after simplification, that k is equals to 4 omega square. Already we know the omega square value, that is 13. So k is equals to 52. So this is the value for the stability condition. So when k is equals to 52, then the system should be stable condition. If it is less than the 52, the system should be unstable condition. Now these 2 points are crossing points. Let me see how we can find that, how we can draw the crossing points. So generally crossing points we can draw from the breakaway point or breaking point, but in this problem there is no presence of breakaway and breaking point. So what we have to do means, we have to draw the crossing point from the complex conjugate poles. So we have two complex conjugate poles, one is presented here, another one is presented here. So from this point you have to draw the line, it should be crosses to the minus 3 j.36. so this is the crossing point on the imaginary axis. Similarly from this pole you have to draw the minus 3.6 j minus j 3.6. so this is the way of finding the crossing point on the imaginary axis. So this is the complete graph you have to check. So next, so whether how to check that whether our graph is correct or not means, so there is a one way the angle of asymptotes and the crossing point axis should be in parallel. So this is the this lines belongs to the angle of asymptotes, and this lines crossing point on the imaginary axis. If you observe these two, it should be parallel, and these two also parallel. So based on that you can decide that whether your graph is correct or not. So here if you feel any difficulty while finding that angle of arrival, angle of departure, at least you can you can indicate the poles at zeros on the axis, and you can find the root locus, you can find the centroid. So up to finding the centroid, then you will get that maximum 5 marks or 4 marks. So the main advantage of this question is you will get that marks based on the steps. So for step 1 you will get 1 mark, step 2 2 marks, like that. So just be aware about how see the concept, how we can find that particular step, how we can go for particular step, what are the different ways we have to check when the breakaway point will be available, when the breakaway point is not available, when we called as a breakaway, when we called as breaking point, when we have to find the angle of arrival, when we have to calculate the angle of departure. So if you know this conditions, then you can usually draw the graph based on that given obtain our values. So this is about plot of root locus plot for the given open loop transfer function with unity feedback system. Thank you.